this computer. Hi, my name is Renee Hobbs, and welcome to COM 416 for the spring 2018 semester. I see here on the call tonight, I have Jordan, Monica, Kelsey, Zach, and who is OT Saurus 94? Aha! Alexa, hello, how are you? Let's
Hello?
see. Oh, your microphone sounds beautiful. Wonderful. Did you have any trouble getting on the Zoom tonight?
No, I just.
Glad to hear it. And I am just checking on the identity of OT Saurus. Who are you, OT?
Olivia?
Hi, how are ya?
Hello.
Hi.
Wonderful. Okay, so Monica and Zach, I'm hoping you are joining us as well. So I am, I'm so excited that you're here for the course, and it turns out that today's date, January 24th, is a most auspicious day because I'm here starting the course on propaganda while I'm here in Belgium, in Brussels, Belgium, France, launching a propaganda initiative that I am developing with the European Commission. And so I can't tell you how incredibly relevant this topic is to like every aspect of my life. So one of the ways you can kind of see what, and of course here in Brussels, Belgium, it is 10 p.m. at night. So just forgive me a little bit for looking a little raggy here, but that's just the way it is as the day wears down. So today we were really, really proud. Of course, you can see from my Twitter feed that I am really looking forward to meeting you, and I sure hope some of you get your Twitter and send me a tweet using the COM416 hashtag. But I was really pleased to be able to kick off the Mind Over Media project in Europe. Some funding from the European Commission and the Evans Foundation. We've been able to identify 6 partners from 3 European countries and 3 Western. And you know what? Maybe now's a good way to, if you're not talking, something's going on in the background. So mute your microphone if you're not talking, all right? Okay, that's pretty good. Let me see if I can mute Lauren here, if I can see the who is my big muter? That noise was driving me crazy. Hold on just a second.
Finn, look how weird this is. What's my video class?
Okay, so
I don't know.
Olivia, can you mute your microphone, my friend?
Oh, I'm like in
Thank you. Great. So so give me a thumbs up if this is your first time you've had a video class. Because obviously it's kind of cool, right? Yeah, for sure. So how many of you had another kind of online class that was boring and stupid? Raise your hand. Thumbs up if you've had a boring and stupid online class. Okay. So I was absolutely committed to providing a first-class educational experience, which is why I am such a technology enthusiast, which is why we're going to be using so many technologies. But as I was saying, I created this awesome, cool technology to help people around the world learn about analyzing propaganda. It's called Mind Over Media, and it's a crowdsourced gallery of contemporary propaganda that has over 1,000 examples of propaganda from all over the world. You're going to be seeing it this coming up week or two. And fortunately, at the very same time that we're here in Belgium, there is a stunning exhibit on the history of Nazi propaganda. And I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see my little Twitter video about that. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen now. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Good show. So check out the stunning exhibit on the history of Nazi propaganda at the Parliamentarium. That's the museum That's the Museum of the History of Europe, which is kind of a brand new thing, Europe being just recently relatively coming into being. So I went to the exhibit and I did some training, taught some people here in Europe about it, and I made a little video to show you what it looks like. Let's take a look. So we're entering the State of Deception traveling exhibition. It's about the history of Nazi propaganda, and it includes some original materials, some multimedia. This exhibit is a fraction of the size of the one that launched in Washington, D.C. in 2007, and that's the initiative that started my interest in the topic. So for over 10 years, I've been a consultant to the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum, helping them think carefully about how to teach about propaganda. And so with you this semester, I've found out that the best way to teach propaganda is to do it online and to use a rich array of digital media texts, tools, and technologies. I am pretty sure that if you go back and read the tweets of the students who took the class last semester, they'll tell you two things. It was the hardest class they ever took at URI, and it was the class where they learned the most. Why? Because this is not a sit and get where you sit and take notes and lecture. This is a class where you make media as a way to learn things. And of course, that's a topic I'm also deeply care about, because as you can see from my Twitter, that's the topic of my new book, Create to Learn. So this semester, as your way of learning about propaganda, the past, the present, and the future, you're going to be making a media, and that makes the class way fun. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have to accomplish in it's now in the 50 minutes that we have ahead of us. What I'm hoping to do is provide an introduction that gives you everything you need to be a successful learner in this class, right? And you who have already showed up, Kelsey, Zach, Monica, Jordan, Alexa, you're on your way because you've already figured out how to join the synchronous Zoom meeting, right? Woohoo. And I've given you a little bit of introduction to myself. I'm a professor of communication, and I'm a media literacy activist, and I've kind of given you a sense of kind of why I'm so passionate about this topic. Why don't we turn to topic 3, which is the student introductions? Why don't you tell me a little bit about who you are and why you're taking this class? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm shifting my view to the I don't know what this is called, like the little pixels. Do you see up on the top right-hand corner of your screen that you can control whether you see it speaker view or I guess it's called gallery view? Give me a thumbs up if you can see how you can control the display of students. Do you see that? See how you can control this display? It's really cool as we're getting to know each other for us to see each other in our sights. You know, I'm in a boring hotel room in Belgium. Yeah, what a drag, right? But there you are, wherever you are, right? In your home or at work or wherever you are. Why don't we introduce ourselves to each other? A little bit about your name, rank, and serial number, why you're here at URI, why you're taking this class. Who wants to go first?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in, I guess. I don't really know my serial number. What's the deal with that? Should I give my grades out? No. All right, I'm technically going into my senior year.
And what's your name?
Jordan.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi. I'm very jealous that you are in Belgium right now because I study French on the side, and I'm a comm major. I am taking this course because I've always had an interest in propaganda, and I want to learn how to be a night dictator.
Marvelous. Marvelous. Okay, cool. So now I learned a lot about you because now I know that you're interested in French and that you're interested in power. right? Good thing, right? That's a good sign of career success ahead. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. You hear me? My name's Kelsey. I'm a senior communications manager. I'm from Narragansett Island. I just got out of my internship. That's why I look nice. And I'm kind of running around. I think I take this course to, honestly, it's one of my requirements. And I kind of like Jordan. I like leadership positions and using communication as a tool for that. So.
Cool. So you've helped me learn a lot about yourself. I know that you have an internship. I know you're interested in leadership. I know you clean up good because you look beautiful.
Well, thank you.
And I also noticed that you are very nicely using the frame of the camera here, right? So we are attentive when we're on an online space to make sure as best as we can that the lighting is okay and that we can see each other. And I like the off-center framing there. I think that's
good. I'm not even doing that on purpose.
Oh, nothing is by accident. I don't know about that. Who wants to go next? Thanks for introducing yourself, Kelsey. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Hi,
My name is
Monica.
Monica. I'm a communications major also, and I'm from New York. I'm taking this course so I could learn more information about it because I'm pretty interested in it, actually.
Cool. So I learned that you're from New York. Is there anything else I should know about you so that I can teach you better? Are you a suburban New Yorker or a city New Yorker?
Suburban.
Cool. Upstate or down by Jersey?
Down by Jersey, about 30 minutes from the city.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So Larchmont, Mamaroneck.
Yeah, right there.
Area. Oh, that's a great neighborhood. Yeah. Cool. So glad that you're in the class. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. Can everyone hear me? Okay, so my name's Alexa. I'm also from New York, but city New York. I am a junior and I'm double majoring in PR and comm. And I want to take this course because I do need it as a requirement. And out of all of the 400 levels, it seemed the most interesting to me.
Cool. So glad you're taking the class. And nice to meet a city girl from New York as well. So who's next?
I'll go. My name is Olivia. I'm a communications major. I'm graduating this year. I have a minor in gender and women's studies, and I really want to take this class because I think this topic is very relevant to our lives right now, and I also really like history.
Aha, wonderful. So you have a lot of reasons that you're connections to what we're learning in this class, right? Thinking about gender, so thinking about history, and then your professional identity as well. Thanks for sharing. Who's next?
I think I'm last. My name's Jack Thompson. I'm a senior. I'm a communications major. I also think, well, I'm from New Jersey as well, but I also think this is a really relevant topic to us right now. And it really interests me and always has interested me.
Cool.
So to take this class.
Zach, I'm really glad you're in the class. I'm not originally, but I spent 10 years in Philadelphia working at Temple University. Are you from Northern Jersey or Southern Jersey?
I'm from the shore, right by like Monmouth University. I don't know if you've ever heard of Monmouth University. I'm right by there in like Long Branch area. So that's where I live.
I get it. So now that makes sense why you came to an ocean place.
Yeah. Same type of feel.
Cool. Superb. Okay, have I heard from everybody? I'm wondering about Lauren. But okay, so let's go back to, now this is the first time you're doing this, but generally what we like to do when we're having our video class is we like to be toggling between the Zoom meeting area, and you can see that's its own little window, and the course resources. And that's especially important this week because you can see what we're scheduled to do next, which is review the syllabus and review the learning outcomes and the course content, right? But I see before we do that, we probably do want to meet one of the authors of our course. He's the guy who wrote the book, Trust Me, I'm Lying. So we're going to watch this short video, and try to see if we can make some educated guesses about what this guy is going to teach us this semester. Let's take a look. Give me a thumbs up if you can see the video screen now. Let's see if it's playing.
The internet is full of liars, cheats, and charlatans who want only one thing: your attention. Page views and publicity control what you think you know, from stories on the internet to the news on TV. The system is completely defenseless. Manipulators like me spread lies and generate fake outrage daily. If you were interested in media manipulation, here's one way. Start small. Send your story to a tiny personal blog from an alias email. They get an exclusive, you get an outlet. You then take that exclusive link and send another fake email to an even larger site. Like links in a chain, you move your story along to larger and more influential sites. The original idea builds momentum with each link until finally your story becomes the story. This is one way unreal news becomes reality. This information is dangerous. It's up to you how you use it. My name is Ryan Holiday. Trust me, I'm lying.
Whoa. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about that video. What did you notice about it? How did it make you feel? What did you learn? Who wants to go first? You just met one of the authors of one of the books we're going to be reading this semester. What'd you learn? How did it make you feel? What'd you notice about how it was made, that video?
I don't know. I thought it was. Ooh, someone talking. I thought it was kind of dark looking.
Dark. Yeah.
That's what I noticed.
Yeah. What'd you notice about it? What did you learn? How did it make you feel? And what did you notice about how it was constructed?
I guess tell you don't trust anyone, because you can anyone can lie about things and get into it pretty easily. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I thought it was pretty intense and kind of want to know more. It was kind of cartoonish, so it kind of relates colors and stuff. Yeah, I kind of want to know more because it was intense.
It was intense, and it piqued your curiosity, and it made you want to learn more. Thanks for sharing. What else did you notice about how you reacted to that video?
Well, the color scheme, it kind of like communist propaganda a bit. And usually red is supposed to sort of startle you and make you feel unsafe. So I found that interesting. And then what was it? Was it like a sea monster, or am I supposed to hit something here? Is it okay that I'm in this time? I've never done this. I'm sorry, the video thing. Am I supposed to hit something? No,
you're fine. We can see you and hear. Give me a thumbs up. Everybody see and hear Jordan perfectly fine. Yeah, you're coming across cool. And what I like, Jordan, is you just answered the third question, which is, what do you notice about how it's constructed? So you noticed it was red. You noticed it was, well, Alexa also noticed the cartoony elements, right? Mm-hmm. But this thing is definitely got, and how about that scary music that's running through the whole thing underneath, right? Okay, so I want to point out something really interesting about that video. And I guess to do that, I'll just go to the little window. So that video was produced as the official book trailer for the book we're going to be reading, which is called Trust Me, I'm Lying. But take a look at it. It was produced in 2012. Nobody was talking about fake news in 2012. Ryan Holiday was so far ahead of his time. It's scary, right? And he actually wrote this book a little bit to help you be a master manipulator and a little bit to warn you about how you are being victimized by master manipulators. So this book is a really cool part of our learning experience. And you should go to Amazon right away and get it. Next big book we're reading is the classic slender volume by Edward Bernays. It's called Propaganda. And this book was written in, oh my God, 1928. he is the father of the field of public relations. He's kind of invented it. And this book makes a really cool argument that propaganda can be an ethical practice and that propaganda is essential to democracy. And that might not be something that you thought about, because the phrase propaganda has such negative connotations, right? So he's going to mess with our head a little bit by suggesting that propaganda is essential for democracy and that it can be practiced ethically. And then finally, I showed you how I was at the exhibit today here in Belgium. We're going to be reading this great coffee table book called The State of Deception, The History of Nazi Propaganda. Although it's a big, giant book, it's a big, giant book because it's got the coolest illustrations you're ever going to see in a book you read for a college class. So first things first, go to Amazon, order the books, get the books, and maybe some of you have already done that and they're already winging their way to you. Give me a thumbs up if you've already ordered the books. Yeah, baby, love it. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so let me share my screen with you, and we're going to kind of talk through the syllabus, the expectations, the workload, all that kind of official stuff, right? Now, to do that, I'm taking you to propaganda.2017. It's also listed as 2018, so one way or the other, you're going to get there. I hope that most of you have had a chance to download the syllabus. Give me a thumbs up if you've had a chance to download and print out or make a clear the syllabus. Glad to see it. So let's just go through that syllabus a little bit so we're all really clear on this. So what does it mean to have office hours when you teach an online course? It means, well, you have my cell phone, right? And sometimes we can even meet on campus, right? But it just means you call me up. If there's another time that is better for you than that time, you call me up or send me an email or send me a Twitter, that's even better, and say, what time can we meet? Okay, so this course does not use Sakai, and that's a really important part of the course that we're going to talk a little bit more about why that is. We have really two home bases for this course. The website where all the materials, where the kind of, it's like it's the public face of the course. And then we have a private learning community called Pathright, right? And we have a communication channel that we're using for this class, which is Twitter. Now, give me a thumbs up if you've used Twitter before professionally, like professionally as a professional communicator. Thumbs up if you've used Twitter professionally.
Like for another class, I've used it.
Okay, all right. So you're probably wondering then, why the hell are we using Twitter? But I wonder, maybe you can answer that question. Why are we going to spend so much effort learning to be Twitter experts this semester? And what does that have to do with propaganda? What are your thoughts? Any guesses?
Twitter's big for our government right now.
Bravo, nicely put, my friend.
Am I right?
Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah, exactly. We have a president who's running the country using Twitter as his private microphone. That's kind of important, and we're gonna be on top of it and study it. Here's the other thing. Twitter is a way to engage in a community, a learning community, because it's not just the 25 of us undergrads at URI who are interested in propaganda. Thousands and thousands of people all over the country and all over the world take this topic really, really seriously. And we're going to learn from and with them this semester. You're not just going to learn from me. We're going to learn from a whole knowledge community of people who've been thinking about this topic really deeply. And the best way to be a part of a knowledge community is to use Twitter, because you can lurk behind the scenes. You don't have to contribute until you're ready, because you can meet people from all over the world. It's a really powerful tool for learning. In fact, some people are surprised when I tell them that Twitter is because I'm a communications and media professional, Twitter is perhaps one of my most powerful research tools, maybe more powerful than any library database, and certainly more powerful than Google search. So we're going to see how to use Twitter to understand its full potential. And then we're going to take a close look at who's using Twitter as a vehicle for propaganda. And we may get to practice being propagandists ourselves, right? Because that's a big part of learning to make sense of propaganda, is to learn to use it for your own beneficial purposes. Okay, so that talks a little bit about why Twitter is important. The rationale for the course, really, of course, we are going to address the topic of fake news, right? Of course, we're going to be talking about advertising and commercial culture. And of course, we're going to be talking about ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and the way in which terrorism is, after all, a form of propaganda. So, of course, Trump's use of Twitter is changing the game really right now, creating what some have called this post-truth society, where what we do is we don't really have a dialogue. We just deliver talking points, right? Simplistic and emotionally laden phrases. And we're kind of bypassing the real business of democracy, which is based in discussion. And maybe that's increasing polarization and apathy. So, but propaganda isn't a bad thing. It actually can serve really beneficial purposes, and we're going to study that pretty carefully, looking at how propaganda is used for beneficial purposes and how it can actually be used to improve society. In fact, we're going to look at how activists use propaganda in order to make the world a better place. But one thing is really for sure, we have to engage in unbelievably rigorous critical thinking about propaganda, because right now there are so many new forms of propaganda that are popping up that the old paradigms for how we used to think and used to teach about this, they don't make any sense. So we're going to have to think about sock puppets and trolls and sponsored content. We're going to have to learn a lot about the new ways in which people send and share messages in order to really become experts on this topic. But now one thing is really cool about this class is that because there's a big, strong focus on making media, your unique talents come into play, because some of you are creative people who express ideas creatively. Some of you are organizers who are good at time management and getting a team to work well together and kind of managing things. Some of you are into gathering information and putting it together and synthesizing it. And some of you probably have some issues that really matter to you, and you may have an activism agenda and want to have developed the skills of activism in order to make a change in the society. So I've identified these 10 learning outcomes, and I'd like you to, not now, but after class, I'd like you to identify the one or two that are the most important for you, right? Because you might be somebody who's kind of excited by the advancing media production skills, right? And creating media. But that, for others of you, that may terrify you. You may be thrilled about how much you're going to learn about using social media, right? For communication, collaboration, and advocacy. Or that may be like, oh shit, that's going to be no fun, right? You may be really interested in understanding the history, right? Or that may not be so important. So take a few minutes after class and read through these learning outcomes and see if you can identify the one or two that are the most meaningful to you. All right, so I've talked about the books. Let me talk about the educational philosophy. Obviously, this is a fully online asynchronous course. This weekly Zoom, I think, is the game changer, because although it's not required and you don't have to participate live, if you can't watch it live, as you can see, most of the students tonight are not able to join us live, then you get to watch the YouTube video. And down in the comment thread of the YouTube video, I'm going to post some questions that allow me to measure, did you really watch the YouTube video, right? And do you understand what the hell is going on in this class, right? But it's so much more fun to be in the Zoom class. And over the next 3 weeks, you're going to see some amazingly powerful features of Zoom that allow it to function almost exactly like a seminar. And I don't want to spoil the surprises that are ahead, but Zoom has some cool features that make it really very much like as if we were, in Davis Hall or in Swan Hall in a seminar-like experience. And you'll get a chance to see those in action. So although this is a asynchronous class, and I'm assuming that you are strategic and self-directed and able to keep on track with your schedule, it turns out this class is also built around this idea that people learn best by making and doing things. This is not a sit and get class, right? So you're going to learn from making things. And then, of course, because this topic opens up a lot of sensitivity, we have to be both challenging and supportive to each other, and we have to basically be able to respect and trust each other. So we're going to do some activities every week on the Zoom that are going to try to cultivate that, because people learn best when there's high levels of respect and trust. Okay, so now you get the kind of concept, right? Every week you're going to do some things on the to strengthen your skills, and there's going to be a lot of different practices. Okay, you can participate in the video chat, or you can watch the recorded video. We're going to make media, right? And then there's going to be opportunities for you to reflect. You probably already can now see how totally different this is from a Sakai kind of experience. So I couldn't believe how ugly Sakai was. I just didn't want to use it because it was so aesthetically hideous. It was just, I didn't want to even be around a piece of technology that just didn't look good, right? But I've also, since then, discovered that there's a whole community of folks who make an argument that's really cool. So if you use Sakai for an online class, you get really good at using Sakai. But then once you graduate from college, like, Sakai is totally useless, okay? Trust me on this. People do not use Sakai once they graduate. So the skills you learn using Sakai don't transfer into the real world, where you as a communications and media professional need to be able to have some skills that people will pay money for. So in an open network learning environment, we use all of the free and low-cost tools that are at your fingertips once you're graduated. And you get practice using those tools so that you have marketable skills, right? When you graduate, you didn't just learn to be good at Sakai. You learned to make a YouTube video. You learned to make a screencast. You learned to make a podcast. You learned to make an infographic, right? And you learned to build a web page and put rich content on it. So the open network learning environment is based, just as it says in the syllabus, on this idea that we're learning skills that transfer from the classroom into the workplace. So that's partly why I'm so passionate about it, partly why I think students learn so much, and partly what makes it a pretty challenging class too, right? Admittedly. Okay, open network learning environment. It's a cool concept. All right, so I'm kind of moving down the thrill. Oh, some people on the first day, they're kind of freaked out. They're like, holy shit, I don't know how to do those things. I've never made an infographic. I've never built a website. I've never used a video chat before. Not to worry. So the class is designed so that you're not expected to have any particular expertise. I'm assuming you've never done any of those things before, right? And so don't feel nervous. Even if maybe you kind of do feel nervous, don't feel nervous, because we scaffold the way you learn in this class, including the way you learn to use technology. And like with everything, learning to use technology is like a trial and error thing, right? Nobody's going to wave a magic wand and make you good at this stuff. You're just going to have to plug away at it, right? So that's kind of part of the way it works. Okay. So now you're probably wondering, like, well, what are we going to do and how am I going to be graded? Oh my God. So let's talk about that. Okay. So the first thing to talk about is these creative projects that you're going to be making. They're called LEAP projects. Each one is worth 100 points. You're going to do 4 of them, right? The first one, I bet you can find, is already up on the website. And you can read more about propaganda in my life. That's due on February 19th, and the criteria for that project is already up there, so you can start thinking about it, right? So these are projects that where you get a chance to experiment with how you use media. The first activity, Propaganda in My Life, is a blog post, but there'll be other projects along the way where you get to make cool things. There are 4 examinations. Each one is worth 50 points. You can see how they're marked on the syllabus. They're offered at 4 points in the semester. They're open book, open note. Whoa. Of course they're open book, open note. Let's be honest, in a digital age, who the hell needs to memorize anything anymore, right? What is more stupid than having to memorize something? I don't think that's a worthwhile skill. This is an open book, open note test because the idea is, can you find, access, retrieve, and synthesize information, right? And can you do it under time pressure? Because that's what being a communication and media professional involves, working under time pressure to read, analyze, and synthesize information. Okay, so there's exams. Okay, cool. And then there's the real work of the class. You can see that class participation is worth 400 points. That's a lot of points because most of the learning in this class is doing the work yourself. So you're not going to be just sitting and listening and taking notes, right? You're going to actually be doing stuff. So I need you to block out approximately 6 to 9 hours each week to do the work. Please block this time out on your academic calendar. Students who are successful in this course have a dedicated time where they do the work for this class, because every week I'm going to give you activities, readings, videos to watch, videos to annotate, right? Tweets to send. And each week it'll be worth about 30 points. So every week you're going to have to do that work in order to get class participation credit. And you can see how I've given you some metrics around setting the bar and knowing how you're doing with the class participation, right? So that's not an optional thing. That is a 40% of the class grade. Now, because we're doing some learning on the, oh wait, maybe before I keep going, I'm blathering on now. Oh, yeah. So I get excited about the class. Maybe I should pause and see if you have any questions. I'm pausing to see if you have any questions.
Yeah, I have one quick one. So we have a 48-hour window for our exams, but when we sit down, how long do we have? Like, is there
you have as much time as you need.
Okay.
You could take the whole 48 hours, but that'd be kind of goofy. Probably takes about an hour to complete the exam.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good question. Thank you for asking that. The 48-hour window is because basically the artificial deadline pressure that it opens, the exam opens on a Tuesday and it closes on a Thursday, something like that, really forces you to do the reading and get the work done. So that's part of the reason for that. Thanks for asking that good question. Who's got another question?
I'm good.
You're good. All right, cool. Well,
Can you talk about PATH?
Say?
Can you talk about PATH?
Yeah, let's talk about PATH. Let me share my screen with you and we'll take you to the PATH, right? So before I do that though, let me just point out one thing about these course policies, which is kind of important. So you're going to be maintaining a blog for this class and you're going to be tweeting. But I want to be really respectful of the fact that you may or may not want to use your real identity. And that's cool. If you want to use a pseudonym, that's absolutely cool. You are free to be essentially anonymous in this class. I personally think anybody who's a communication and media major would be doing themselves a disservice to do that, because you're going to produce some kick-ass products that are going to actually help you get a job because they're going to be cool and beautiful, and you're going to want to have a digital presence. But obviously you make a decision about how much of your online identity are here. I'm kind of a stickler about deadlines because of my own background in media. So I'm not the kind of person who you can approach about and say, can I have more time? I don't do that very well. Although under some circumstances, of course, I have done that in the past. Obviously, I'm a human being, right? And then the issues about social responsibility, copyright, and fair use. I don't think you've ever taken a class where you saw a copyright and fair use statement. Usually you see a statement that says like, don't plagiarize. But no, this says, no, sometimes you're going to need to use other people's work in your own creative work. You're going to make things using other people's images, other people's videos, other people's sounds. You're going to remix other people's stuff sometimes. And we're going to learn how to do that responsibly so that you can be the author of everything that you create. So look at what's happening next week. Now, the syllabus, the way it is here, is identical to the path, except the path has all the cool stuff on it. Next week, our topic is defining propaganda, and we're asking the question, what makes propaganda so mischievous to define? But let's go to the path to see how it is that you'll actually do the class participation work of the course. So give me a thumbs up if you've already found yourself to the path. Yeah? You've already found yourself to the path, and now it's just really a matter of figuring out how to use it, right? So let's see if we can do that right now. And let's, okay, there we are. The path is kind of cool. Like the website, each week you get a window or a part of the course gets unlocked. But because this is the first week of class, you have 2 weeks of activities to do. Some of them, some activities I hope you've already done, right? So it's kind of a pretty simple interface, right? Week 1, I see 24 students are here. It's really a matter of moving through the steps. Read the syllabus, order the books, attend the first synchronous class. Woohoo!
Do you have to like check off that you've done those?
Yes.
Or like, okay.
Yes, so here's what happens is this first week there's no points attached to any of these activities. But after that, each of these activities will have points associated with them. So when you do the work, you get the points. Sometimes that happens automatically just by you like viewing and commenting on the video gets you those points automatically. Sometimes I have to look at your work in order to see that. So one thing I probably like to invite you to do right now is after this class, I think you should demonstrate that you understand the format and structure of the course. So the way that works is something like this. Right? After the first class, you should be prepared to discuss the philosophy of the class and show me that you understand what's in there. So it says, demonstrate your understanding by responding to 3 of the questions below. So let's see. When will the quizzes be given? Right? And so you click on the answer, and then you add your answer here. Right? Right?
When will the quizzes be given?
One way to do that, one way to look at that is to go to the syllabus, right? So take a look at the syllabus and you'll see the dates when the quizzes will be given, right? So this quiz is measuring your ability to, did you read the syllabus? Did you look at the whole structure of the class? All these questions are in the syllabus, and some of them we've talked to today, like I told you the why we use Twitter, right? You told me the why we use Twitter, right? So for each of the activities, there'll be stuff for you to do like that. Right away, you should establish the Twitter account for the course.
So you just click on it and you write your answer or prompt response on this. Okay.
Exactly. So you're doing the work on the path, right? So here's a situation where this is the big reading that we're doing for next week. This is a really cool reading. It's called Lexicon of Lies, Terms for Problematic Information. And it's about the definitions of words like propaganda, disinformation, agitprop, information warfare, right? So you're going to read the report. You click on the link, the report opens. You're going to read the whole report pretty carefully. And I suggest, you don't have to do this, but this is a really important reading. You might be using this reading in one way or another all the way through the whole course. You might find it valuable to create a cheat sheet with all the terms so that you're comfortable with them. But after you're done reading this, respond to 2 of the discussion questions to demonstrate your understanding of the ideas. So there's some choice there. Which of those 4 do you want to answer? You decide and put the answers in the space, right? So that's pretty easy. The one thing that's sometimes new to some students is Give me a thumbs up if you've ever used a video annotation tool. Thumbs up if you've ever used a video annotation tool. Oh, cool. Okay, so we're going to use a video annotation tool called Ant. Ant is a really powerful, simple to use tool, but for you to be able to make an annotation, you need to register for an account. I'll do a demonstration and show you how it works because I've already registered for my account. But after you register for an account, you're going to go to this page like this. Let's see if it opens up here. In the box, you see the YouTube video. And then down here, you see there's me, I'm the author. I'm going to now comment on this video. Oh, but it looks like even I have to sign in, right? So I guess I do have to sign in. I'm going to sign in with my Google address. I'm going to say, Google, please remember that I am Renee Hobbs 2002 at Gmail. Because Lord knows you can't use your URI email for anything practically. It's locked down to a lot of different kind of social media. So if you ever have a problem, don't just switch to a non-URI email, and that usually clears it up. So now I'm back at the website and it says there are no annotations for this Ant. You guys know what an annotation is, right?
I hope so.
What's an annotation?
Just like your own personal remarks, highlights of what you think is important going throughout the text.
Beautiful. So it's actually kind of like an active reading strategy. Like
Yeah.
reading, you're like making notes and that's helping you show you understand. Well, we should be doing that with video too, right? Video is a powerful tool for learning, but we should be making notes about video and showing how we are learning from video. So you start the video by pressing play. When you're ready to annotate, add an annotation, you click this like whatever this symbol is, whatever that's the annotation symbol. And then you fill out the annotation form and click save. Let's take a look.
There's nothing new about fake news. I used to see in the supermarkets the Weekly World News. It was full of fake news stories. They were famous for this ongoing saga about the Bat Boy.
Ah, I got us do an annotation about the Bat Boy. Bat Boy, I remember this character because it scared me in the grocery store. Right? Right. All right. There it is.
Is this something that you want us to use or like if we have our own system of taking notes when we write videos, like can we do that, or do you want us to be using this Ant tool?
If you want 6 points, you should use this tool. Right? So this is a class participation activity, and I'd like you to use this tool. Here's why. This is a collaborative annotation tool. All 24 members of the class are going to add annotations. And we're going to discover that we all watched the same video, but we all didn't make the same interpretations, right? So that's kind of why I want you to use this tool, right? So this is another way that we're using digital tools in innovative ways for learning purposes. Okay, so for next Wednesday, January 31st, I'd like you to do all of these activities. Read Caroline Jack, view and comment on the video, fake news wasn't the problem. Participate next week in the synchronous class, and this is the most important thing, create a blog and send a tweet. All the work that you do for this class, the main LEAP projects and some other assignments are going to be on a blog. Give me a thumbs up if you've made a blog before. Okay, so some people have and some people haven't. That's cool. So I've given you some guidance there on if you're just starting, you might try some of these things. But here's really the secret. Go find a cool YouTube tutorial. Watch it, pause, and then copy what they showed you how to do. Watch a little bit more, copy. That's a very powerful way to learn to use new tools, right? So you can create a website within 10 or 15 minutes. On that website, you need to have a home page, obviously. an about page that presents your identity, and a post for Leap 1 or a page for Leap 1, 2, Leap 3, and Leap 4. Those are the 4 assignments that you'll be doing. And then once you've created your blog, send a tweet to me with the with the hashtag COM416 plus the URL. And if you put my name in it, I'm going to find it. And then I'll add your blog to the course roster. Right now, none of you have created a blog. It may be, if you want to reuse a blog that you've already used, that's really cool, right? The class roster has got the names of the 24, 25 students who are taking the class. And as soon as you tweet me with your blog, I'm going to make this an active link so that we'll get to see Michaela's blog, right? We'll get to see Keith's blog, right? We'll get to see Kelsey's blog. And I'll make those hyperlinks active so that by next week, you'll be able to see each other's creative work. Okay, so now I think you have the background knowledge and the skills to jump in. And the one thing that I probably didn't spend enough time talking about is the power of this COM416 hashtag, right? So it turns out that COM416 is a group of people who are interested in propaganda or have taken the propaganda class. So already there's a stream of stuff from the kids who were involved in the class last semester. And because they created public work, some of the things the students from last semester created are going to be inspiring to you. But some of the work that students created last semester also sets a pretty high bar, right? For what can be done, what URI undergraduates can do, which I have learned is friggin' amazing, right? So it might be inspiring for you to take a look at some previous work and get a sense of like what you might be able to accomplish with this class this semester. Okay, so let me see if you have any other questions.
I have a question. So I can use a professional Twitter I've used before.
Yes.
And then also, like you said with the blog, I have a portfolio for another class, but I've kind of been using it for like my professional work. Can I also use that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so you can essentially just set up a new subpage with the COM416 and then make those pages all nest together, right? Mm-hmm. So then you've got a spot on your existing blog that has your COM416. This will be professional work that you'll be doing, so might work out. That's up to you, though. You're not required to, if you have an existing blog and you want to use it, you can, or you can create a new one. What other questions do you have? Olivia?
When is each week due?
Really great question, and I'm so glad you answered. Every week, your work is due by Wednesday at 4 p.m. We're going to work on a Wednesday to Wednesday cycle. I am not the cruel, awful person to make things due on a Monday. That is just mean. Come on, right? So Wednesday is the drop dead day for everything, right? So, and yes, I will not really start to panic until midnight on Wednesday, but it's really cool. We have a much cooler class if you've done the work by Wednesday when we have our 4 o'clock class, because then we actually have a really much cooler conversation.
So I don't have any social media currently. Are there other resources that we're going to be using besides Twitter and like our Wix or whatever blog?
Are there other media that you're going to be using besides Twitter? Other social media?
Yeah. Is it required to get like a Facebook or?
No.
Okay.
Twitter is our major social media this term.
Okay.
Yeah. What other questions do you have? There's one thing that I didn't mention, which is I am testing the waters about when is the a best time for this class. And so on the path, I thought I put a, I thought I put a poll together, but it looks like I didn't. I thought I put a poll together. I might, after this class, add a like a little digital poll to see, like, is Wednesday 4 o'clock is obviously working for you guys, right? Give me a thumbs up if Wednesday at 4 o'clock is working for you. Yeah, I think this is a great time to have class, right? Kelsey, that rocked. That was cool. Here's the other cool thing. Zoom has a phone app. So if you are like not seated next to your laptop, you can and you'll probably see me do this sometimes too, right? So you can actually participate in Zoom from your mobile phone pretty easily too. That's awesome. So I may test the waters and see, can we get 4 more kids to show up if we have it at a different time? And so I'll give you the chance to indicate the times that you're available. But I think Wednesday at 4 o'clock is pretty good, and we'll just do a little experiment to see if people like it at other times. Okay, so I guess my final parting words are, learning about propaganda is something that activates your head, because it's cognitively a really challenging topic, and it's got a long history, and it's got a lot of mess to it, and an interesting kind of mess. But the study of propaganda also activates your heart, right? Because that's what good propaganda does. It evokes strong emotions. So this class is going to challenge you emotionally, because we're going to encounter some really horrible propaganda that's going to gross you out. And we're going to see some beautiful propaganda that's going to break your heart open in a million ways and change your way you think and feel. So that's partly why I think the class and then there's the stuff you make with your hands, right? Because when you build media and you create media with your own hands, that's when you really learn. So I do think that one thing you can kind of expect is that this class is going to activate your head, your heart, and your hands. And that makes the learning a little bit unpredictable, but I think that's a really good thing. And so I'd say, deal with the unpredictability of it. If you have any questions, the best way to get a hold of me is Twitter. I'm addicted to Twitter. I have 7,000 followers. I have to take care of them, So you can reach me on Twitter almost 24 hours a day. And if you have any other questions that need to be answered between now and next Wednesday, send me an email, send me a Twitter. And otherwise, I'll see you guys next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, okay? All right, so, a tradition. We are starting this tradition, and we do this tradition every week. So we're going to sign off every week with a wave.
Oh wait, sorry, I was on mute. Sorry. So for week 2 due next Wednesday?
Yes. Week 1 you should do right away, and week 2 is due next Wednesday, January 31st. So you can see, I'm going to just share my screen there a little bit. So there's the dates there, and then I think you might also see those dates in the corner too, right? So the dates show the due date as Wednesday the 31st. So you have a bunch of reading to do, but as you can see, I'm kind of assuming that the books might not come between now and next Wednesday. That's why we're reading Lexicon of Lies, because that's an online publication. You click on the link, you download it. So the books might take a few days to get there, so we'll read Caroline Jack to get started.
Okay.
Okay,
cool.
great.
Thank you.
Olivia, I'm really glad you asked that question. Let's see if anybody has another question. Because, in a kind of way, you guys, because you're here in the flesh, people are going to be watching this video later. You might have a question. You're not sure if it's a good question or not, but somebody who's watching this recorded video is going to go, oh, thank God she asked that question. So, other questions? Okay, so let's sign off with a wave. This one's the Queen Elizabeth wave. The Queen Elizabeth wave. We're giving the Queen Elizabeth wave. We'll see you guys next week, all right? All right, I'm Renee Hobbs. These are the amazing students of COM 416. See you later. Bye.